Are you feeling overwhelmed by trying to force things to happen in your life? In this video, we're focusing on the powerful lesson of not forcing anything on your life. Lesson 1. Being okay with things. Acceptance isn't just a state of mind. It's also a way of dealing with the real world as it is. Buddhism sees acceptance as an important practice because it helps us deal with the problems that come up in life with calm and ease. It forces us to face the truth about our situations, no matter how unpleasant it is, and to admit that we can't change them. Mindfulness is an important Buddhist practice that helps people accept themselves as they are. It means being aware of our feelings, ideas, and physical sensations without judging them. Being mindful makes us more aware of our automatic responses, so we can watch them without getting caught up in them. Being aware of this makes room for acceptance to grow. We learn to just be aware of our situations without judging them as good or bad or acting on them right away. Being aware of what we're noticing helps us see things as they really are, which helps us understand and accept truth better. Acceptance also makes us more compassionate toward ourselves and toward others. We are more able to forgive and understand ourselves when we accept our flaws and limits. Being kind to ourselves is important for healing and growing as people because it helps us get over feelings of guilt and shame. When we accept others just the way they are, we also learn to care about them and be kind. We know that everyone is doing the best they can with the things they have access to. This kind of caring attitude not only makes our relationships better, but it also makes the world a better place to live. Acceptance leads to equanimity, which is a calm and even state of mind. It means being able to stay calm and balanced no matter what is going on around you. Equanimity is not being indifferent. Rather, it means realizing that our inner peace is not dependent on what is going on around us. We can create equanimity, which helps us stay stable inside, even when life goes up and down. By practicing acceptance, this calmness of mind is a strong way to deal with the problems and unknowns in life. The need to be perfect is one thing that gets in the way of acceptance. For many of us, the way our lives should be is an ideal, and we become attached to this ideal. We think we need to meet certain goals in order to be successful or happy. But this need to be perfect often makes us criticize ourselves and be unhappy, since reality rarely meets our ideals. Acceptance teaches us to let go of the need to be perfect and accept that life isn't always perfect. That way, we can enjoy the beauty and individuality of each moment without trying to make it fit a certain mold. Acceptance and thanks go hand in hand. When we accept the way things are in our lives, we can see the good things that have happened. We start to value the little joys and gifts that we might have missed before. Being grateful changes our attention from what we don't have to what we do have, which makes us happy and satisfied. We can have a more upbeat and appreciative view of life by practicing acceptance and gratitude. There are several steps in the acceptance process. To begin, we need to face the truth of the matter. You have to face the facts without denying them or trying to avoid them. Next, we need to pay attention to our feelings and let ourselves feel whatever comes up, whether it's sadness, anger, or frustration. You shouldn't try to hide or judge these feelings. You should just feel them fully. Last, we let go of our wish that things could be different. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means letting go of our attachment to a certain result. Acceptance can help us in many areas of our lives. In partnerships, for instance, we can work on accepting our partners just the way they are without trying to change them. This doesn't mean putting up with bad behavior, but it does mean realizing that we can't control what other people do. There are limits and challenges that come with our jobs, but we can focus on what we can control and let go of standards that are too high. As we grow as people, we can accept ourselves as they are right now, recognizing both our strengths and flaws without judging ourselves. Acceptance is a practice that can free you, but it's not always simple. It can be hard to accept painful events, especially ones that make us question who we are or what we believe. It can be hard to deal with things that don't seem fair or right. It's important to remember, though, that acceptance doesn't mean you agree with or give permission for everything. It just means accepting things as they are. We can grow spiritually and strengthen our practice of acceptance by facing these problems with courage and an open mind. Acceptance is a practice that can change your life and bring you deep inner peace and freedom. In this way, it helps us go beyond the limits of our trained minds and enjoy life more fully. The more we accept ourselves, others, and the world as they are, the more we can understand what it means to live. We learn to go with the flow of life instead of against it, so that every moment is harmonious and balanced. Acceptance is one of the most important practices in Buddhism, and it can help you find peace and happiness inside. It teaches us to accept things as they are, without fighting them or getting attached to them. Acceptance leads to kindness, equanimity, and gratitude, all of which make our lives better and help us understand spirituality better. Lesson 2. Give up power. We live our lives with the idea of power deeply ingrained. We learn from a very young age how to make plans, set goals, and work hard to reach those goals. Being proactive and responsible is good, but wanting to control everything too much can cause stress and regret. Letting go of control doesn't mean giving up on our goals. It means realizing the boundaries of our power and choosing a more peaceful and balanced way of life. People often want to be in charge because they are afraid or feel unsafe. We are afraid of the unknown, and being in charge of our surroundings and situations can make us feel safe for a short time. It's very hard to handle everything when we try to control it all. It makes us always alert as we try to plan for and deal with every possible result. Being on high alert all the time can be tiring and often leads to stress and anger. We often want to be in charge of our connections with other people. We might try to change or sway the people around us to fit our needs because we think that will make things better or make us happier. One important part of giving up power is surrendering. To submit in Buddhism is not the same as giving up or being passive. Instead, it means letting go of our fixed attachments to certain results and trusting that life will work out as it should. This trust isn't foolish or blind. It's based on the knowledge that life is complicated and has many sides. Being open to the idea that there are more than one way to be happy is part of surrendering. Sometimes, the most important experiences come from things that weren't planned or expected. Being mindful is a great way to let go of control. Being more aware of the present moment makes us more in touch with our thoughts, feelings, and physical experiences. Because we are aware of this, we can tell when we are holding on to power and gently let go of it. Being mindful helps us see things as they really are, without our fears and wants getting in the way. This quote tells us to be in the present moment, whatever it brings, and to act with focus and kindness. Letting go of power can make our lives much better in big ways. When we let go of the reins, we let new things and situations come into our lives. Being able to handle the ups and downs of life with more ease comes with getting older. Being open helps us learn new things about ourselves and grow in ways we didn't expect. Also, when we let go of the need to control other people, we make room for deeper, more genuine relationships. Think about times when things did not go as planned in your life. Think about how these events may have led to growth, learning, or good results that you did not expect. This thought can help you trust that things will work out as they should. Setting goals can help you find your way, but it's better to think of them as plans rather than strict rules. You can stay flexible and open to different ways of reaching your goals after making this mental shift. Instead of focusing on a specific job title, for example, think about the skills you want to develop in your career, like service, innovation, or teamwork. Start by giving up some power in small, everyday things. Let someone else plan a social event for you, or give up on a chore around the house that you usually insist on doing a certain way. These small acts of surrender can help you get used to letting go over time. One great way to practice letting go is to do something creative, like drawing, writing, or playing music. Structure and spontaneity are often needed for these kinds of tasks, which helps you focus on the process rather than the result. Being thankful for what you have can help you stop thinking about what you don't have or what you want to change. Practicing gratitude on a daily basis can help you feel happy and grateful for the present moment. This makes it less important to control what will happen in the future. It can be hard to let go of power, especially if it's something you've done for a long time. Getting help from family, friends, or a spiritual group can give you hope and direction. Talking about your trip with other people can also make you feel less alone and more connected. Being able to fully enjoy the current moment is one of the most profound effects of letting go of control. We can enjoy life more fully and truly when we are not worried about the future or trying to fix the past. It's possible to enjoy the little things in life, like the taste of food or the sound of birds singing. This presence not only makes us feel better, but it also makes our relationships with each other and the world around us stronger. It takes time, mindfulness, and self-compassion to learn how to let go of power. It's not about giving up on our goals or wishes. It's about being open and flexible in how we live our lives. When we let go of the need to control, we free ourselves from stress and pain that aren't necessary. We learn to trust that life will go as it should and to deal with problems in a wise and kind way. In the end, giving up power lets us live a more complete and real life, embracing the fullness and complexity of being human. Lesson 3. Get better at not resisting. Non-resistance is a deep idea that can change the way we live our lives. It tells us to go into situations with an open heart and mind, so we can go with the flow of things instead of fighting them. This practice isn't about being passive or happy with life. It's about developing a healthy and open-minded view of it. Sometimes, practicing non-resistance can help us feel less pain and more peace. Resistance often shows up as sadness, anger, or frustration in people's feelings. When things don't go the way we want or expect them to, we may have a strong desire to fight them or make them different. The difference between what is real and what we want is what causes this mental turmoil. For example, when we have a tough job, we might try to ignore the truth by wishing things were different, which can make us stressed and unhappy. Similarly, when relationships don't go the way we thought they would, we might not want to accept the other person for who they are, which can lead to arguments and mistakes. Buddhists see these feelings as a type of sorrow that comes from being attached to our wants. We set ourselves up for failure when we insist that things should be a certain way. We learn to accept these feelings without letting them rule us. When we practice non-resistance, we can be aware of and understand our feelings without letting them take over our lives. We can keep our inner peace even when things are hard because we are emotionally detached. Being able to let go is a key part of non-resistance. Letting go means letting go of our hopes, dreams, and plans for what will happen. You have to trust that things will work out the way they should, even if they don't go the way we planned. While this is true, it doesn't mean we give up on our plans or don't care about the results. Instead, it means that we do our best and then stop caring about how things turn out. We understand that some things are out of our hands and that trying to change them will only cause more pain. When we are in situations that bring up our darkest fears and insecurities, it can be especially hard to let go. One example is that we might find it hard to leave a job that defines who we are, or a relationship that makes us feel safe. We learn to see these events as chances to grow, though, when we practice non-resistance. We are aware that hanging on too tightly can keep us from discovering new and maybe even better options. We can let go of our attachments and be open to the flow of life and the chance of receiving unexpected gifts. Being mindful is an important part of practicing non-resistance. Being fully present in the present time and observing our feelings and thoughts without judging them are part of it. When we practice awareness, we become more aware of the ways we try to avoid certain things. Now that we know this, we can choose a different response, one of openness and acceptance. If we find ourselves fighting a feeling like sadness or anger, for example, mindfulness can help us see that we are fighting it. We don't have to try to push the feeling away. Instead, we can sit with it, watch it, and try to figure out where it came from. To figure out what we can learn from this, we can ask ourselves why we feel this way. This practice not only makes us feel less pain, but it also helps us learn more about ourselves. There are many ways to practice non-resistance in daily life. One real-life example is how we deal with other people. A lot of the time, we fight against other people's actions or thoughts because they don't match our own. Resistance like this can cause fights, anger, and relationships that aren't working well. When these things happen, we can be more open and accepting if we practice non-resistance. We can listen to others without responding or trying to change them right away. We don't agree with everything they say, but we understand their point of view and will keep our cool when we answer. Non-resistance can also help you deal with changes or challenges that come up out of the blue. Everything in life can surprise you, and not all of them are good. We may want to fight against sudden changes, like losing our job, having a health problem, or having a personal failure. We may try to make things go back to the way they were, but this resistance often makes our worry and anxiety worse. We can accept things as they are and focus on finding good ways to move forward if we practice non-resistance. We can change with the times and look for the chances that may come up because of them. Non-resistance also makes us more compassionate toward ourselves and toward others. We are more kind to ourselves when we stop fighting our flaws and mistakes. The fact that we are all on a path of growth and learning means that we all make mistakes is okay. Being kind to ourselves makes it easier to be kind to other people. We understand that everyone has their own problems and battles, and we can help and support them without judging them. In the end, practicing non-resistance gives you a deep sense of freedom. We can break free from the chains of expectation and control when we stop fighting against the way things should be. We respond better, get stronger, and are more open to the beauty and wonder of the present. This freedom isn't about running away from reality. It's about accepting it totally, with all of its problems and unknowns. In Buddhism, this state of not resisting is often linked to waking or enlightenment. It means having a deep understanding of what life is all about and breaking free from the cycle of pain. It may seem like enlightenment is a vague or far-off goal, but the practice of non-resistance gets us closer to it. Living in tune with the natural cycles of life gives us a taste of the peace and freedom that comes from doing so. By practicing non-resistance, we become more in line with Buddhist principles and can live a happier, more peaceful life. We get better at being patient, accepting things as they are, and giving up the need to be in charge. Lesson 4. Learn to be patient. Being patient is an important trait that helps us deal with the challenges and unknowns of life. It helps us keep our cool and keep things in perspective when delays, problems, and issues come up. Being patient with ourselves is one of the first things we should do. We often have high hopes for our progress, growth, and accomplishments. It's easy to be hard on ourselves and angry when we fail. Buddhism, on the other hand, says that being kind to yourself and patient are important for real growth. It's important to remember that personal growth happens over time and is often accompanied by failures and difficulties. Being patient with ourselves lets us make mistakes and learn from them, knowing that every event is part of our journey. When we're with other people, patience is just as important. Patience helps us deal with misunderstandings, differences, and different points of view, whether we're with family, friends, coworkers, or strangers. Loving kindness, which is a Buddhist practice, stresses patience as an important part of being kind to others. Being patient with others makes it easier for them to understand and feel what you're feeling, which leads to deeper and more important connections. It's important to listen eagerly and carefully if you want to be patient in relationships. This means paying attention to what the other person is saying and not responding or cutting them off right away. Being aware of our own feelings and pausing to breathe before reacting are also important parts of this. This pause gives us time to think about what to say before we say it, which leads to a more peaceful and helpful conversation. Unexpected problems and failures happen all the time in life, from small annoyances to big events. At these times, being patient can be very hard, but it can also be very beneficial. Buddhist teachings tell us to see these problems as chances to learn and grow. According to the Four Noble Truths, pain is a normal part of life. What makes our experience different is how we deal with it. Staying mindful and in the present moment can help you deal with tough scenarios. This means being aware of how hard things are without becoming overwhelmed by them. You can also use the Buddhist practice of equanimity, which tells you to keep your mind calm and steady no matter what is going on around you. By practicing this kind of inner calm, we can face problems with a better mind and a stronger will. Meditation is one of the best ways to learn to be patient. By meditating regularly, we become more self-aware and gain control over our feelings and thoughts. Being more aware helps us notice when we start to get impatient, so we can deal with it before it gets out of hand. Meditation also teaches us how to be with pain and uncertainty, which makes it easier to stay calm and patient when things go wrong. Mindfulness practice can be especially helpful in this case. As part of this practice, we focus on the current moment and notice our thoughts and feelings without judging them. We become better at being patient as we become more aware of our inner experiences. We learn to let things be the way they are without responding or trying to change them right away. Acceptance is a key part of patience because it helps us handle the ups and downs of life with poise and ease. There are many long-term benefits to learning to be patient. Being patient not only makes us feel better, but it also makes our relationships and life better in general. Having a clear head and a calm attitude about life helps us deal with worry and anxiety better. We can enjoy the present moment more when we are at peace with ourselves, instead of always running to reach the next goal or milestone. Take a few deep breaths whenever you start to get antsy. Pay attention to how your breath feels as it comes in and goes out of your body. This easy exercise can help you relax and focus on the present. Every day, take a moment to think about what you're thankful for. This practice can help you stop focusing on what's wrong or upsetting in your life and start noticing the good things. Split up bigger goals or jobs into smaller steps that you can handle better. This method can help you avoid feeling overwhelmed and frustrated, so you can take each step with care and a sense of having done something good. Practice pausing before you speak when you're in a tough position. For this stop, you could just count to 10 or take a deep breath. It gives you a chance to think about what to say before you answer. Some things that can help you be more patient are gardening, knitting, and even mindful walks. Because these things need focus and attention to detail, the pace should be slower and more careful. Being patient is a talent that can change our lives in big ways. When we learn to be patient, we can handle the problems and unknowns that come up in life with more ease and grace. We become more compassionate and understanding, both toward ourselves and toward others. Buddhism teaches that patience isn't just sitting around and waiting. It's also an active way of living that comes from being aware of and accepting what is. It's something that makes our lives better and brings us closer to inner peace and happiness. We find that as we keep practicing patience, we are better able to go with the flow of life and not try to force or hurry anything. When we believe the process, we know that things will happen at their own pace and right time. This makes patience a powerful tool for living a more balanced, peaceful, and worthwhile life. Don't try to push anything into your life. This is one of the most important Buddhist teachings. It tells us to be happy and at peace with the present moment instead of trying to control every part of our lives. Letting go of the need to make things happen can help us see things more clearly, accept things as they are, and find inner peace.